Gotcha.
Kill it. Never trust Brian anymore.
Can't wait.
Oh, let's hear.
The suspense is real.
There we go. We got D on the line. Brian has not received shirts yet. We have a ton of shirts, by the way. Say thank you.
Hey, did Brian get the shirt?
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. He has not received it yet. I actually should have brought it today. We have a little stack, and they're all hilarious too.
Seriously?
Yeah, we got a bunch of.
Why didn't you bring it? I don't know. What is it?
Now I'm gonna get in trouble.
What is it?
I'm gonna get in trouble. I'll send you pictures when I get home.
Oh, you suck, dude.
My friends. So we're gonna let this build for a second. What's up, my friends? My friends. We got a few updates, and then we got a video from Josh's shop coming out tomorrow, and then I think I'm actually going to be posting another video tonight after this live. But there's some stuff going on in the industry and stuff going on in our lives, and I'd like to have a little live. We haven't had one in a bit, so let's let it fill in for a bit. I'll just answer some of these comments. 1.5 up, dudes. Sup. Let's go through a couple names here while we wait. We got Melissa F. as always, Amanda Gimme. We got Groves Russell. We got Kawi Addiction 46. David Growitz. Gregory Summer. Tina Renegade. Jace Lee. I wonder if I said that right. Tina, Minnie Moan, Robin, Bex Babe. All right. So we're good. All right. Yeah, we're live. All right, dudes and dudettes, check it out. So, I don't know who's caught on to what and what lives everybody's caught or episodes. I don't even know what I've said half the time in most of these episodes. But again, we have an episode coming out for tomorrow. That's at Josh's shop with some really cool stuff, and he set up an enclosure there that's pretty damn amazing, if I do say so myself. But some important news is that we will be closing on a house in, I believe, hopefully 6 days. 6 days we'll be closing on this place, and then we're going to be doing a massive undertaking. So right now I've already scooted all the permits over to the state side. We've got the bonds, we've got everything going on as far as the insurance side of things, and then we just have to slam some enclosures up and get these people out here as soon as possible so that I could hopefully be out of the house that I'm at by the end of the month, so that I could save myself the cash from having to pay for 2 houses at one time. That's going to be extremely difficult to do. So it's kind of a race against the clock type of situation. We wish we could have closed a little earlier, but the title company is taking a little bit of time. But we're supposed to close by the 18th, so everybody cross fingers that happens. And thank you guys for all the congratulations. This has been a year in the making. I'm 35 years old. This is the first house that I've ever purchased. I've always rented, and now hindsight's 2020. Wasted a lot of money doing so.
I'm 34, and I hope I have one in 1 year.
You'll have one probably before. I mean, if things didn't roll this way and I wasn't forced into it, he would have had one before I did. I can guarantee you that shit right there. But it has been a long time coming. I appreciate all the congratulations. We've literally poured everything that we've had into this. So this is a giant leap of faith, and it's a leap of faith worth taking because, as I've said in many, many episodes, like, the main goal was always to get the homies back home. Now, the reason we weren't able to do that in the beginning was James Green. Thank you very much. Never get to see the live, but wanted to say thanks for the help with the BT skink. She's doing great. I really appreciate it. No problem, brother. Anytime I can help anybody out there, everybody knows that I usually do. I've been slacking a bit on my social media. I've been slacking a bit on the comment section of YouTube. We've been trying to push out as much as we possibly can, and I apologize greatly to everybody out there. I'm usually more on top of that, but within the next 3 weeks, between moving, getting all the animals from all the different places like Treetop Exotics, then we have Wild Florida, then we have a couple other places that our animals are at that we're going to have to go and scoop those guys up and bring them all back to one place, plus building enclosures, plus dealing with the state, plus dealing with the federal side of things with USDA for my mammals. It's going to be a massive undertaking, so I'm a little slower on the side of responding to everybody. So if anybody needs help out there with any animals, I can say that if you just rapidly message me on my social media, BiteForce_ on Instagram, or if you have to reach me on Facebook if you don't have Instagram, me and my human. Champagne. So if you need to reach me and you have an emergency with an animal, just keep going to the top. Just keep messaging. Just say emergency. I'll catch that. I do have a bunch of people that I talk to on a regular basis. Love you guys all. I haven't dropped off the face of the earth. I've just been inundated with everything that we have going on to try and push things forward as quickly as possible so that we can make this transition as smooth as we possibly can. Now, this has been a year in the making. It has been, come August, it'll be a full year since the split with the park. Now, I put on my Patreon a picture, and the picture was basically this stupid face all over the airport, still all over the pamphlets. I'm still being advertised essentially at the old park. That's one of the biggest problems that I have. I don't want to be tied to the park for whatever happens after I left. I don't want anybody to look at this face and then connect it with that park in any way, shape, or form. That's the biggest thing. So I put it out there to my patrons out there to kind of ask for some guidance. And a lot of people are in the same frame of thought that I am, where like kind of got to let the legalities roll out and whatnot and not look like an idiot just pouring a bunch of information out. I mean, I could technically come on here and I could throw all the messages, everything was in writing, which was the downfall of the guy that owns the place, because he's a rich guy and he buys his way out of everything, but what he can't buy his way out of is what he said. And things that he said on that, I could post up and I could plant it everywhere, and I'm sure everybody would go into full-blown attack mode and go straight for the park and try and tear it apart. It's not my main goal. Amanda Lynn, happy birthday, Motho. Everybody say happy birthday to Amanda Lynn. That was on July 9th. We posted something special for her on the old Instagram there. Hey, I've had some handmade stuff that I'm frantically making so I can get it in the mail to you soon. I do need a tiny bit of personal info, favorite colors. We can set up a time for FaceTime with you. Yeah, all that stuff you can handle over on the other account, the Bite Force over there. And I know you're on there, so you can go over there and message me and we can figure all that out. Not sure when the move is going to be, so I would definitely not send it to the address that I'm at. Having said that, back to the park thing with the patrons, I think we were all pretty much on the same page. Like, you know, for me, I didn't get the ability to protect myself or defend myself when certain people came into play. And when I say certain people, these are people that probably some of you follow. It is a YouTube channel. It's a smaller YouTube channel. And quite frankly, like, it was just between the park and these people, and then the lies that were spread, the things that were said. I was never able to sit in front of a desk with these people to ever defend myself, because at the end of the day, they didn't want that. They didn't want my speech involved. It was just fitting the owner's narrative at the time, and he was able to do what he needed to do. And he got his $4 million grant for the wildlife park that I had built in the back there for him. And then we cleared all those animals out. So hopefully the IRS catches up. Hopefully karma catches up. What I think we're going to do is that we're going to do an episode on the park shit. I'm going to keep it extremely vague. We're going to leave names out for two reasons. Number one, it's not fucking important. Number two, they're not even worth my time. And quite frankly, like, to let everybody know, like, yes, there is a lawsuit out there. There's a couple of lawsuits for the breach of contract, obviously, the defamation of character, slander, the whole 9 yards and stuff. The question is whether to continue on this pursuit or not, because the law and the wheels of justice turn slow. Can we say that? I would say extremely fucking slow. So I'm not sure if it's worth it for me to even really get in depth on what the fuck went on, and definitely not to mention any names or anything like that, because I'm not going to do the same thing that they did to me and try and trash me apart. Now, luckily enough, I've been in this industry since I was young. My father was before I did, so I started at a very young age, and I built myself a reputation, and I have a reputation with a lot of solid people in this industry, a lot of solid parks, zoos, wildlife parks, private keepers alike. Everybody kind of knows everybody in this industry. So I was luckily enough, I was able to be raised around the right people, or at least I feel I was raised around the right people. So for me to kind of dive into everything and kind of attack those people the same way that they attack me doesn't exactly jive with the way that I roll. I would love to fucking have the ability to have these people sit down with me and say what they said to other people to me directly to my face, because I know they can never do it. They would never be able to, they would never have the balls to sit across the table from me, let alone even try and say some of the shit that was said. And we'll go into some of the things that were said then we'll go into some of the things that made the breaking point of the park and made the split to get, for me to get the fuck out of there and get these animals out of there safely. That was the biggest thing. As I've said multiple times, the only thing that really matters is the safety of the animals. So to go backwards and kind of like tag up this park or whatever, we're going to speak briefly on it and then we're going to move on. And that's fucking it, dude. Somebody's screen is black. Is everybody else's screen black? Can you guys see me?
No, they fixed it.
Oh, they fixed it? Okay, perfect. Thanks for paying attention, big guy. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
at the end of the day, like the whole thing for me is like, I'm not even sure if I want to continue on with the damn lawsuit. This shit is very slow moving. We haven't even sent a letter out yet. I'm still all over these guys. Like, I think the one thing I will do is like a cease and desist just to get my name and face off this whole bullshit because
at the airport, right?
Yeah, it's in the airport. It's still on pamphlets. It's everywhere. It's all over the place or whatever. And there was never a drafted agreement or a contract for them to use my image. The image was able to be used while I was there because obviously I ran the park. And then once I split from the park, I don't want to have anything to do with it and anything that goes on afterwards. Now, I took all the animals that required permits, but there was some animals, unfortunately enough, some parrots and stuff that are still there. I don't know how they're doing. I can't check in on them. None of that stuff. I kind of just have to suck it up, move on, realize that people suck and not everybody in your life is meant to be there for a long time. Now, I was stabbed ferociously in the back by people that I actually cared about and gave jobs to because they couldn't take care of their kid, quote unquote. They didn't have enough money to bring in, to pay for shit, to pay for their family, to pay for the place that they had just got, all that 9 yards or whatever. And then I have kids myself, so obviously I feel bad for shit like that. So what they did was the swoop move, quit very quickly after that. They quit because my girls that were there, as far as Jackie, Madison, Talia, my fucking dream team, and then Carrie, my dream team, like the people that were there solid, that protected that park and did it like it was their own shit. Those were my people. And then I brought this one in, caused a bunch of problems between my own people, caused a bunch of meetings that were unnecessary, and then bailed out at a time of need because we had a hurricane. And that all came into play later on when, I guess we'll get into that in the episode, but it came into play later on that this person had quit. And even though they had quit, they attacked me on a level that I can't even begin to explain. But we will get into small portions of it. But quite frankly, they're not worth my time. They're not worth my energy. And quite frankly, they're really not worth the fucking shout out, if I do say so myself. Like, not even a little bit. And I'm ready to close this chapter because, like I said, my dudes, we're going. We're out. We got the property, so it's on to the next phase. So it's time to fucking close this garbage chapter.
Can we talk about it?
Shoot. What do you want
Can
to
we talk about what we're doing on this property?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So we have ideas. So we have many ideas. And for everybody that's going through the comments here with all this stuff, I will swing back and check on some of these, so feel free to comment. And because I see Tyler's name popping up, I've seen a couple other names popping up, so I'll come back to that here in a second. But so the plan is to give you guys a front row seat of basically how to take a blank ass property and turn it into a small wildlife park. And when I say wildlife park, I don't mean that on like the same level as Treetops. Like Treetops is a pretty big park. Ours is going to be a little bit smaller, and then we're going to build out, actually mimicking some of the stuff that was done here at Treetops. But Brian and I are going to go out there and we're going to film it from start to finish. So we're going to do time lapsing. We're going to tell you why we're doing things. We're going to tell you why we look for certain places on the property. We pay attention to sun patterns. We pay attention to times of year. We pay attention to everything, not only because you want to make it look nice aesthetically, but you also want to make it work. So there's all this debate on like how to build enclosures and how to do things and how to do things properly. But you always have to think of two things. Number one, aesthetically pleasing, be good. Thank you very much. Kat, love you to death. Thank you. Love you. But you have to think of things on a bunch of different levels. You want it aesthetically pleasing because it always takes away from like I hate to say it that way, but it does take away from like the prison type of look or whatever. So you want your enclosures to be, number one, a nice space for your animals, but you also have to think of everything else that's involved. So we want to give you guys a front row view of like how we're going to be setting things up, why we're picking and choosing the places we're setting these things up, and then Brian and I over here are going to get into something a little bit
Let's
more.
just say the content, the time frame,
It's
when
gonna
it's
be
coming
going
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a lot of content coming out.
Well, we've had all this space in between. Like we had
Yeah.
a good couple of months because it was easy because we were constantly moving things around. We were going
It's
here,
hectic.
there,
We have
everywhere.
babies. Now we have people taking vacation, and we're taking over some stuff. And he's dealing with his, his issues. And I think everything's coming to us still where we can actually start boosting up our content.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be very.
But like he said,
very
like
good.
we had springtime, so Brian had all the babies that he had to take care of.
Yeah.
So that's a lack of sleep, and then you can't pull people out.
2-3 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
Just
per
3
day.
babies.
Yeah. But we're almost done with that. I'm not gonna say we're done, because then as soon as I say that, there's gonna be some more babies.
Well, I mean, it's not spring anymore, so less baby.
Less babies.
I mean, at one point we
sure.
were feeding
Mike Walters,
babies.
what up, dudes? Yeah, there was a lot down
Yeah.
there. There was a lot going on down there. But at the same time, like now we get to kind of do a couple of things. Number one, we get to be creative with what we have coming next. So before, like we're going to different parks, which I love, and we're always going to do that whenever we have to go to a different park. If we go to Wild Florida, Treetops, when we go to Mark's place over there, anywhere we go, we're always going to try and film what we're doing over there. Sarasota Jungle Gardens, Tampa Zoo, all that stuff. If we go and we have the ability to film, we're going to do that. But now we're going to get a little bit more in depth, and then it's going to be less spread out. So now we have one focal point rather than like trying to get a couple of videos here and there, and then also diving into leaving every day, because I have to leave the house every day. So I have animals I have to take care of at the house. Then I have to leave the house, and then I have to either come to West Palm Beach or Okeechobee. Now, when I come to West Palm Beach, we can do videos because I'm with Brian. When I go to Okeechobee, I can't do videos every single day because then it would just be a constant update on the homies every other day. So every other day we're over there taking care of stuff, and thank you guys over there on that side of things for helping me take care of those homies. But it's time for everybody to come back home. This was supposed to be 2 weeks originally. When I first came over here to Brian's house, we literally put the lemurs here, we put the squirrel monkeys here, we put the tamarins here. Everything was supposed to be 2 weeks. It was supposed to be 2 weeks for the monkeys over there, the homies and everything, and it wasn't until we got with the state and figured out that we couldn't get this same exemption that we had before as far as land requirements that we posed a problem of not being able to bring everybody home all at once, which created a great deal of stress. So for anybody out there that goes through shit in life, trust me, I get a lot of messages where people are like, oh, I wish I had your life and this and that, which I get. I understand the appeal of what it is that I do. And I'm very fortunate to do what I do, as Brian does himself. Like, we're very fortunate to get to work with the wildlife that we do. We're very fortunate to have the lives that we do. But what a lot of people don't understand is the work behind that. So like, we have a live here, and then as soon as we're done with a live, it's right back to work. So we were already working here. He's been outside spraying cages and stuff. It does get hot here in Florida. We do have laws that we have to follow in that, saying basically with any non-human primate, you have to have it under 84 degrees. It cannot reach over 84 degrees past 4 hours. So we're constantly monitoring temperatures. We have fans rolling. We have all kinds of stuff, plus the feeding in the morning, plus the cleaning at night. So it's a constant work day no matter what, whether we're here or we're traveling, whatever it is, there's always work that needs to be done. When we finish with this live, Brian will go straight back to work at the house. I'll leave, go to my house, and I'll go straight back to work at my house. And we'll probably get done somewhere around, Brian will be lucky enough to get somewhere probably like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. He has some volunteers. Fuck you, big guy. And then I'll get home, and I do have some help myself, but I'll probably be done probably around 10, 11, sometimes 12, sometimes 1, depending on how long it takes. So it's a great deal of work that goes into all of this, all of the animals. So as much as it appeals to everybody, the work that comes with it is absolutely fucking tremendous. So now we get to go to one space. We're going to go to one place, and then we get to build out these enclosures. Once those enclosures are built and everybody's home and in one spot, then Brian can come and stay at the house for a couple of days, and we can show you guys what we're going to do. So we're going to do time lapsing of all the big enclosures. We're going to build these guys out some mecca condos. I don't even want to call them enclosures. We're going to do some mecca condos for these guys. And then on top of that, we're going back to reptiles, my dudes. So I'm smoking back to my roots.
What are you going to start off with?
Boy, it's hard. Well, we do have reptiles at the house. I do have some reptiles at the house, so we'll probably start with the stuff that we already have. So we have a bunch of leopard geckos that were left with the fed case that I got all those animals and had all those reptiles and whatnot, and those have since moved on, but I did keep the leopard geckos. Why? I have no idea.
You like him.
But there was a bunch of them. I do like them. I'm not a morph guy. I'm not a genetic guy.
He's slowly turning into a genetic guy.
I like what they got
Skinks,
going on
man.
there. The genetics with the skinks I love,
Yeah.
but the leopard geckos and stuff, I have to do a little bit more research into what's going on with these genetics. And as long as there's no line breeding or anything like that going on, I'm totally cool with it. So we're going to show you guys how to properly assess things and do things. So we have some reptiles that we're going to start with, but we're going to move back into my forte from back in the day, which I guess I'll start sharing some of these old pictures from back in the day with my Patreons. And if I could share a picture on YouTube, actually, can you share a picture on YouTube? Might be able to. If we could do it on the community, maybe. No,
I would just stick it right there in front of the camera.
We'll show you guys some stuff from back in the day, but my forte was trying to create projects that are often overlooked. So my favorite thing was to find the rarest reptiles that we possibly could, and then on top of that, try and captively breed things that people have problems breeding here in the States, because then it kind of funnels out like a new captive born and bred project here in the States rather than continuously importing. So we have a lot of exciting things on the way, and it's going to get a lot easier to do more and more as far as the content goes. So we'll have probably a video out either every other day or every day. If it comes to that point, if we have enough backlog.
On the community page.
We can share on the community page. So I'll start posting some stuff up on there. I'll show you guys some of the projects I used to work on. I was really big into the Heloderma. So we had tons of beta lizards, tons of Gila monsters from all different localities. We did the Uromastics. I'm going to do those again. Actually, probably when you guys see Josh's episode tomorrow at CBK, you'll see some of the Uromastics we're going to be getting into, just because they haven't come in a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and snatch myself a pair of those. They're absolutely gorgeous too. They're absolutely gorgeous. You guys are going to love that episode. But so we're going to go back to the roots a bit, and then obviously I'll revamp the business, and I'll start doing my outside shows, and I'll go back to my education. We have been doing that in between. So I've had shows in between. Actually had to miss Croc Fest this year, which I was super bummed about. Because I had a show scheduled that I didn't even know I had scheduled on that day. I got my dates mixed up. I thought one was on the 28th, which was Croc Fest, and then my show was on the 25th. Turns out Croc Fest was on the 25th too. So for anybody that went out there to Croc Fest, thanks for supporting. We appreciate you very much. I wasn't able to make it out there. Unfortunately enough, I had to do the show. I didn't have a choice. Now, another thing that I want to get into and I want to speak to everybody about is the shit that we have going on here in Florida. So for anybody from Florida, you guys know. For anybody that's not in Florida, you may not know, but there's a lot of law changes and there's a lot of buzz going on, mostly about the reptile world. So mostly it is, we have USARK, we have agencies that are brought in to help us out. I would like to do a video with some of the USARK members and ask some pointed questions. I'm not going to get into that whole deal, but my whole thing is this, is in Florida, we have all these law changes. We've always had law changes. It's just what happens to bring us to that point. So in May 3rd, there was a law that was passed that basically said that if you had any violations or warnings, then your permits could be grounds for either denial when you're trying to get your renewal or revocation altogether, where they could just revoke your permits, come and give you 90 days to figure out what you're going to do with your stuff. And then if you don't figure out that stuff within 90 days, they will come and they will confiscate your animals. Now, this was spun into, I think, a little bit more than it should be. I do agree with this law. So I don't agree with everything that FWC does. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that for 15, 17 years now, 17, I don't even know anymore.
Well, we've been in this place for 20 years.
You guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people that have long-standing permits, and for myself, I have everything from big cats all the way down to the venomous reptiles. I've held many permits since I was legally able to, and then I've ran many wildlife parks. So I've had to deal with the state and the federal side of things in a public safety scenario since I was a young child. So growing up, number one, in the tribe, and being in that wildlife park and having John Jones show me the ropes with all that as far as the laws worked and the rules and regulations, we never had any issues. Moving on, when I went to the Jungle Queen, there was issues there, and then when I got there and things switched over, and we'll tell that story again when we get to that part over there. But when we got to that, we had some issues in the beginning, but then I had no issues once I put my permits over at the park. So I myself have never had any issues with the state itself. Some of the laws that they make and some of the changes that they make, I may not agree with, but again, this is how I've lived. This is all I know. This is all. I'm 35 years old. I don't plan on changing a career anytime soon. So for me, it's I'm not going to say that I'm going to conform with anything. Like if I see something that's that detrimental to the industry, then I'll go ahead and address that. And we do tend to show up to meetings. There's a meeting today, literally right now in Jacksonville, going over the bite protocol. And I'm going to go into a little bit of that in the last law that was changed. So May 3rd, laws get changed for a reason. So there's a guy named Michael Paggi, got somebody's head ripped off by a fucking leopard, which is a class 1 animal. And if you don't have a class 1 permit, you are not allowed inside an enclosure with a class 1 animal unless you are under a permitted individual and accepting your permit as well, getting your hours. You're an employee for that person, essentially. So that person with a permit is then responsible for you. Outside of that, I cannot take anybody out there with a class 1 crocodile, big cat, bear. I can't take the general public inside a cage with me. Now, there are different laws where you can be with a class 1 animal up to a certain size, up to a certain weight. I can bring a tiger out up to 25 pounds. Somebody can hold that. Up to 40 pounds, it could be on a leash on a floor, and you can interact with that. After that, no contact with the public whatsoever. So there are rules, laws, and regulations that have been set in place since FWC became a thing back in like 1995. Like before that, it was Fish, Game, whatever commission. It wasn't called Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission. It was called something different, but it's always been in play. But when FWC came in play, captive wildlife came into play, a lot more laws became a little bit more strict. Back in the day, you could just send a piece of paper in and $16 and get yourself some permits and call it a day. Obviously, that didn't work out. So the further along that we went, and then the agency's morphing with time, the whole industry is morphing with time. So based upon what happens and what goes on, we'll basically flow that into FWC, and they have to make ruling, they have to make changes, they have to do things when we have all these issues and problems. And a lot of people go straight to attack the state without realizing what they're attacking. And then also on the back end of things, I don't think people realize like the law itself on May 3rd is going to do us a favor, because there are people out there, believe this shit or not, ladies and gentlemen, there are people out there that don't give a shit about the animals. This has nothing to do with animals. It has everything to do with ego, attention, or money. Those 3 things right there. That's all they care about. So if an animal dies, it doesn't make a difference because it's replaceable. It's just a possession. It's something they own. It's a monetary thing. It's something to create money. So when you have issues like that, a lot of times those places aren't taken care of the way that they should be. So the state has had a gigantic problem with dealing with that, because they can give you a warning, they can give you citations, they can take you to court and all that stuff, but it doesn't fix the problem. So those people will still continue to act in the same way because all they got was a slap on the wrist. You pay a $500 fine. Life goes on, so you go right back to doing what you did before. So on May 3rd, they changed the law so that basically they could say, okay, look, if you have so many warnings, if you have violations, if you have these things, then we could take a look at your property and we could take a look at what you're doing and make the decision based off that if we can take your permits or not. Now, already this has been in play. So if you look at the bottom of, if anybody's in Florida, if you look at the bottom of your permits now, it already states that your permits can be revoked. You can be petitioned against, the whole 9 yards. That's always been in play, but they just started putting that at the bottom of your permits. And I think what people don't understand is that there's a lot of states out there that you cannot own anything. Florida is highly regulated. I don't disagree with the regulations. I don't agree with all of them, but I don't disagree with wildlife, especially to this extreme level, especially with what we work with, for wildlife to be regulated in such a way where we need to keep the public safety and then also the animal safe as well. So all these laws come into play for good reason. There's states out there that you can't own shit. You want a dog and a cat? Perfect. You want anything exotic? No go. There's many states that do that. And then I think that people think that it is a right to do these things. It's a right to be able to own these animals, but it's not. You have to work for this. That's what the permits are put in place for. So if you want to have big cats, if you want to work with big cats, you need 1,000 hours under a permanent individual over a consecutive year of time, working with that person, whether it's volunteer, paid for, whatever the case may be. You have to work under a person for 1,000 hours over a consecutive year to get that specific permit. Then if you want a bear license, you have to do that same thing over and over again. So venomous, same thing. Anything besides class 3, you need those hours to do that. And even in class 3 for capuchin, spiders and woolies, all that stuff, you need the 1,000 hours for those too. The reason for that is most people that want these things on an impulse buy is going to be an impulse fleeting thing. It's going to go away. But if you're invested enough to go and get 1,000 hours to be able to get a permit to own this animal and have the proper acreage and spend your life doing this, then you are able to get these permits and continue your stuff. However, if your shit is garbage, then your shit is garbage. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to fight for those that are out there literally destroying animals' lives just for profit. And I'm not going to protect Michael Podgy and shit like that. I don't disagree with the law. That law on May 3rd, and Michael Podgy standing up there saying, oh, well, how would you feel if everybody took your pets? Well, Michael Podgy, I ask you this. How the fuck would you feel if everybody treated you like shit all day long and you were shoved in a little box and you were forced to eat whatever the fuck I decided to maybe give you that day or not? So that's the point, ladies and gentlemen, is like we can't just attack the state on all fronts. I don't think that's the way to work with this. I think the best way to do things is to work with the state and stop attacking. The one thing, like, I'm trying to get behind USARK and I'm doing as much research as I possibly can. But when I go on their website and I see things, and you can go on their I think this is on their Facebook. And if you scroll like a couple posts back and you start going into the threads of these comments and you see what USARK is allowing, because they have it on their group guidelines that you can't say this, you can't say that, no foul language, no attacking, but they won't take down comments. One comment literally threatened the lives of the officers of FWC. Not fucking cool, my dudes. Not fucking cool in any way, shape, or form. That is not how any of us are going to fucking win anything. It makes the whole entire industry look fucking disgusting, because why would we threaten the lives of officers? So basically the comment went like this. One day, FWC is going to walk into the wrong house, and I feel bad for the officers and the families of those officers when they get shot down for walking in the wrong house. My dudes, if you're fucking doing something illegal and you sign that permit, by the way, when you sign that permit for the state, you're literally signing your rights away. That is a warrant for them to enter your house at any point in time. If they get a complaint, if they feel like dropping by, whatever the case may be, that permit is a warrant for them to walk onto your property at any given point in time, announced or not. And generally, they announce they're fucking coming. They let you know they're coming. They're trying to fucking help us out. So to sit there and say, I feel bad for the families and the officers of the person that walks into the fucking wrong house, you're basically giving a death threat to FWC. You're giving a death threat to the officers. And guess what, mofos? I've had these officers for a long time. I've known a lot of people from FWC for a very long time, for almost 17 years now, 18 years, however long it's been. And I've never had an issue with any single investigator ever. So we're threatening people that are literally out there just doing jobs. That would be the same as fucking, threatening, fucking saying that, maybe I shouldn't get into the cop thing with all the shit that's going on with the cops right now. But regardless of anything, nobody should be making any life-threatening situations come to light. And for that shit to be left on the page too, for everybody to read, it's a little bit fucked up to me. So then we have today. Today we have the bite protocol going on, and I'm pretty sure that meeting is probably full swing. They probably already passed through our section. It was a lot of fishing, a lot of hunting today, and then tomorrow there's another meeting as well. I don't think it has anything to do with captive wildlife. The only thing that was on the docket was the review for the bite protocols, basically saying that they were going to reword the way that we dealt with escapes, bites, things like that. So in essence, if you get bit as a permittee, you can make a quick phone call to your inspector. Yo, I got lit up. This is what's happening, or whatever. As long as you get that animal contained, then you're good to go. Go to the hospital if you need to, whatever it is. And that's usually as far as it goes. What they're saying is if you get the general public injured, then you have to make a phone call to let them know that you've made a mistake and you've had the general public injured. And quite frankly, that's how it's always been. Like, that's why if you see me go do a show, and I go do a show for kids, adults, whatever it may be, I'll bring a wide array of different animals out, and I'll never let anybody touch any of my animals. I know that they're good, but there's always that one shot, that one chance, something happens,
well,
somebody's body.
animal is in the mood or not.
Exactly.
So
thank you for fucking saying that. So just like us, everybody's got a specific mood, and not only what you just said, but an animal could be in a certain shitty mood that day, or flat out somebody could be uncomfortable. They catch that vibe. They're uncomfortable with it. You got something shiny in your ear. They rip that thing out or whatever. There's just so many different scenarios that can play out that create a dangerous situation. So what I do is I do my little show, and then at the end of it, I have my one alligator, Wally. He's a very sweet alligator. I still tape his mouth shut just in case, even though I know he's not going to bite. I let people take pictures with that, and that's the end of it. It's the safest bet all the way around. Then I don't have to worry about any of my mammals or any of my other animals hurting anybody in the process. It's not worth it, and it's also not worth it to put my animals in that danger. So I can't say that I disagree with some of the laws that are being changed right now. Now, there are some talk about this white list and all this other shit. There is no fucking white list. There's no white list, okay? There is a docket. There is a spreadsheet that's been out for years now to assess the risk of the animals that we have here in Florida, and if they're able to put a basic...
just doing some fear-mongering, I think.
It's a lot of propaganda. I think it's a lot of fear mongering. I think it's I think the battle. I think it's now we're like at this divide and conquer type of thing when it should be very much like let's come together and figure this out. But every time I see more and more posts, it gets more and more hateful as time goes on, as if we're trying to attack the state. And me personally, for myself, and this is just me. This has nothing to do with anybody. This has nothing to do with anybody on the channel. This has nothing to do with the support of USARK. This has nothing to do with USARK in general. I myself personally, my opinion is I don't want anybody speaking for me, my family, my animals, my business, or any of that shit. If I have to address the state, I'll address the state myself, as I always have, because at the end of the day, for the last 18, however many years it's been or whatever, I've never needed an agency to speak for me on my behalf, because I've had the constant communication with the state. If I want to call Tallahassee with a question, I call Tallahassee with a question. If I want to call my inspector with a question, I call him with a question. If they're coming to inspect, they come and inspect, they do their job. If there's any issues, we address those issues. If there's no issues, it's fucking in, bam, wham, bam, thank you, man, we're in and out, we're done. So, but I don't need people speaking on my behalf, especially if we're running the hate speech of like, hey, bro, you're going to run into the wrong house one day, and then I feel bad for your officers and your family. Like, that shit's fucked up. Like, we don't need to be talking about the death of officers and the death of families, bro. Like, it's a privilege. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege, 150%, to do what it is that I do. And I'll never view it any other way. I am lucky 100%, no matter how stressful this last year has been, no matter how many times I've been fucked, no matter how many times I've been stabbed in the back, I'm still 100% grateful. I'm humble, and I fucking realize the fact that I am 100% in a very privileged situation to be able to be around such amazing animals every single day. It's not my fucking right to do so. It is a privilege. It's something that we worked for years and years and years to be able to have the privilege to do so. And then we carry that on by taking care of our animals the way that we do. This is why I stress so much about my stuff being spread out so much. Like, granted, I have good people watching my stuff, but at the same time, like, realistically, like, it all goes back to the care of the animals. And once we lose sight of that, and once we lose sight of why we're really here, and then it becomes this epic political battle for whatever gain that whoever it is trying to get or whatever, like, that's when it just disappears in my mind. And then I go back to focusing on my shit, and I'll deal with the state on my level. And that's just my own personal point of view on the whole shit. Do I agree with every law? No, I don't think that the conditional species permit should have been taken. That conditional species permit worked phenomenally for years. We had to pit tag everything. Everything was tracked. Everything was good. So the ban with the iguanas and the tegu then looped in all the other animals that were on the conditional species list. That sucked. That fucking sucked. So a lot of people lost a lot of shit, and absolutely I don't agree with it at all. I don't agree that people shouldn't be able to trap these tegus and iguanas inside the state and send them outside the state, because fucking 100% that was getting rid of 90% of the, I'm not going to say 90%, I would say 50% of the population was being shipped out of state, because we had trappers out there all day, every day. That's all they did to feed their families, was go out every single night and catch tegus, iguanas, and pythons and send those out of the state. Now we can't do that, and that's going to be a problem in the past. So that's one thing that I disagree with. I think that we're working on the opposite direction as far as the state goes, because All we're doing every single year is now allowing the fucking animals to be here. And then we open season on iguanas and we have people shooting into people's yards. We have people shooting into people's pools. We have people shooting other people accidentally and shit like that. And then also you have the question of humanely putting down these animals. And I'm going to say it right now, the iguanas have been here since the early 40s and 50s. They ain't fucking leaving anytime soon. But the best way to deal with that was the way that we were dealing with it, which is basically sending everything out of the state. These people would make money off of that shit.
You can't capture them and send them off.
No, you used to be able to.
You can only kill them.
You can only kill them now, yes. So if you get caught with any live tegus, iguanas, or anything like that, you're definitely 100% going to get fucking raked against the coals for sure.
Okay. That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to fucking any of us, trust me. But there was a couple of biologists, I guess, that just, got out of school. They got something to prove or whatever. And I guess this is the way of attacking that. I think it's fucking stupid because at the end of the day, you had people that knew more. Like now what's going to come is contracts. So you're going to have contracts just like the python hunting or whatever, where we're going to be spending tax dollars to be able to go out there and catch these animals and euthanize, which like fucking it's not their fault that they're out there. Like they didn't ask to be here. The fucking pythons didn't ask to be here. The iguanas didn't ask to be here. And a lot of that shit, like what people don't know is like iguanas didn't come here from the fucking pet trade. Iguanas came here on boats and shit from going fucking to South America, coming back with goods and products and stuff, and iguanas hopping on the boats, taking a ride over and hopping off, just like we have the Bohemian curly tail lizards and other things. Now, do I think that there's some things that have been released by the pet trade? Absolutely, 100%. Iguanas, no. Pythons, that was Hurricane Andrew. Like, so you can't blame everything on the pet trade, but the people in the pet trade were the ones taking care of that shit. They were the ones out there trapping because they can make some money. You take an Argentine black and white tegu and you catch babies. And if you're catching 30, 40, 50 babies a night, you're culling the herd out there because it's never going to stop. So the more people that we had on that, the better. And then when you have people come from out of state to do these like python hunts or whatever, the reason they never get anything is because they're used to hunting deer, they're used to hunting boar, things like that. And if you don't know what you're looking for to go look for pythons and shit like that, you're not going to fucking catch any. Like, that's just the bottom line. So when you have more people out there, especially in our industry, that know where to go, know where to look, know how to trap these things, yes, 100%, we could remove a lot from the state. And then they don't have to be euthanized because people buy these things up like hot candy. Like, you were getting fucking $250 a pop if you were getting Argentine black and white babies down south in Homestead and shit like that. So it's fucking stupid. So again, I don't disagree with everything, but I also very strongly do disagree with the fact that we should not be 100% us versus them. It should never be that way. And I'm sorry if anybody feels that way, and I'm not trying to offend fucking anybody in this situation. And I'm sure just like last time, I'll lose some fucking followers over this, but quite frankly, I don't fucking give a shit because it's the truth, and like the truth needs to be spoken. And if you go in, and I try and research anything before I say anything, and the more I get into it and I see all this hate speech and I see all this shit, and I know these people, Phil Goss, lovely fucking guy. Love that guy. Phil Goss is one of the U.S. art guys. I've known him for years because he goes to the, whatchamacallit, he goes to Daytona Expo every single year. So I've always seen him do his auctions. Fucking dude's like the nicest guy ever. And yes, I do believe he has our best interests and stuff, but I don't think there's enough looking at what's going on as far as from the top down. When you get a group of people together, now we're creating this mob mentality. And I don't think it should be a mob mentality. I think it should be of like, hey, we have some problems. We need to fix some problems. We need to make sure that everybody is safe as far as public safety. And then we need to make sure that everybody is safe as far as small business owners. But to sit here and go right to a monetary source and be like, well, they're going to take our businesses and our money, I don't think that's what we should be thinking about. I think we should be thinking about the fucking animals and their safety, and not necessarily the money that you're going to lose, because no matter what, anybody can do anything. You don't have to do animals. And if it kicks out from underneath me or whatever, it kicks out from underneath me, I would go get another job. Like, there's always that. Do I want to? No. Do I think that's going to happen? No, absolutely not. I think I'll be here doing this until the day that I die. But on the other end of things or whatever, like to go flat out, like we're versus them, no. Not doing that. Not fucking doing that. I love my inspector. Just so everybody knows, Lex is the fucking man. Eric Howe has helped me with a ton of things. He was my inspector beforehand. John Garzaniti was my inspector beforehand, and he's the lieutenant now. Fucking love those guys. And then you got Clint up north. He's a good dude. Kelly Smith. And they're all just looking out for the betterment. Now, do I think that everybody in FWC up top is doing what they're supposed to be doing? Fuck no, I don't. Do I think there's some corruption? Absolutely. Yeah. Look at any government situation. Look what happened to me with the fucking government before. I'll say it now because I don't give a shit anymore, but I got that whole load of fucking reptiles, And the whole deal was, hey, we need you to take care of this shit. And I was like, yeah, I got you. I'll take care of that stuff. So they were supposed to pay a certain amount of money per month to be able to take care of that. That shit never came. And then on top of that, we were supposed to be able to take those animals once they were good and healthy and transfer them over to somebody else and get paid to do so. And the government told me over and over again that we can't sell it, we can't profit off of it. And guess what? They fucking did. They sold that shit fucking flat out. U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Brian Caslot, love you. You helped me every way that you possibly could. But now that the shit is over and the case is over, can I get in trouble for this? Maybe. I'm not fucking sure, but I'll say it. I lost about 16 grand. 16 grand I lost doing that shit. So do I think there's some corruption involved with the whole shit or surrounding the pet trade? Fucking 100%. I'm living in it myself. I live in it myself on a daily basis. But at the end of the day, if I pay attention to that, I'm only going to drive myself crazy. So my dudes and dudettes, this would be a good time for everybody to come together collectively and be like solid about the situation and not attack and just come together as a group. And that's the hardest thing in this industry. And what people don't know outside of Florida, this industry is so far divided because everybody is trying to step on everybody's fucking face to get where they need to go. And then they forget the path of why we came here in the first place, which was supposed to be to help animals, not our fucking pockets. And that's where I think we lost our way. And now it's a big fucking dick measuring contest. This episode's definitely not going to be monetized for shit. So it's turned into a giant dick measuring contest, and we can't come together as a fucking community because nobody wants to. So everybody hates everybody.
Everyone's out
Everybody's
for
seven.
themselves.
Yeah, dude. And if we could just like fucking humble up and just everybody get along, dude, we could be a lot better off.
Top over the other.
And that's the problem. So if we came together as a group of people, I'm sure they would listen. But if we come together as a fucking angry mob, who the fuck wants to listen to that? You know what I mean? Now, it's 45 minutes. Now that I just fucking depressed everybody online. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? What do you guys got going on? Let's see how everybody feels about this situation. So I'm going to scroll back a little bit here since I just got deep into some shit that I'll probably get in trouble for saying. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. But I can't do shit. All I can do is speak to what I feel is true.
What you feel, yeah.
And like, I can't, unfortunately, like a lot of people try and sway my decision on where I stand. And quite frankly, I can't fucking do that. I can't. Look at what happened with the park. I Dave Chappelled the fuck out of that park, dude. Like I had a cushy, nice little job. I could have stayed there. I could have just let fucking whatever happened happen. I could have not given a shit about the laws. I could have not given a shit about the animals. And I could have been like, well, this is easy. All I have to do is get fucking paid, take my fucking paycheck. My animals are all taken care of. Everything's good. My staff is good. Everybody's happy and whatnot. But when you look at the fucking, the whole subject, as soon as you fucked with my animals, then you lost me. You lost me at that. So was the money worth it? Yeah, it was when the park was running smoothly and things were going great. But when shit went downhill, as soon as you put my animals in danger, fuck you. That's how I feel. Don't fuck with my friends. Don't fuck with my family. And don't fuck with my animals. Those are my 3 fucking rules that I have. That's 2.5. Those are my 3 rules that I have. Those are the 3 rules that I have. That's it. And it's super simple. But I left a very cushy job for the betterment of my animals, and not a lot of people do that shit. And I think more people need to learn, like, that's where we go. That's what needs to happen. So you take your comfort and you toss that to the side to make sure that your animal's comfort comes first. Period. End of story. That's what we're fucking here for. That's what we all should be here for, including the state, including Tallahassee, including USDA, including U.S. Fish and Wildlife. This should be all for the animals. It shouldn't be attack on the fucking pet trade. It shouldn't be attack on FWC. It shouldn't be an attack anywhere. It should be a group sit down to figure out what the fucking problems are, how to fix them, and how to do it without getting politically involved with a bunch of bullshit. Period. End of story. Me and my human, thank you very much. Me and my human, that's Day and her little birdie over there, little Amazon-y over there. Holly, you caught up. I get to work with blue penguins soon. Well, rub it in everybody's face, why don't you, Holly? Jesus, man. That's one thing that I've never had the pleasure of working with. I've had the pleasure of being around them, but I've never had the pleasure of working with actual penguins. And I think that's probably one of my favorite little birdies on earth there. All right, so let's see what we got here. Are you paying attention? You see anything we should respond to? We're going to try and keep it to like nothing, big guy. Just stand there and look like fucking Ryan Gosling, all right? You're here for it. As monetization isn't happening, have a few. I fucking love my followers, bro. You guys are fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
When you get the new place, just to move some animals straight in, or do you have to do inspections first? We have to do the inspections first. So the enclosures come first. Once the enclosures come, the inspections will get passed. Once the inspections are passed, then I'll get the. Did I say enclosures or permits? I said enclosures, right?
Yeah.
Enclosures first, inspections, then permits. Once the permits are issued, the animals can legally come onto the property. And then after that, we go through the federal side of things with USDA. We'll have USDA come out. We'll have them re-inspect the enclosures because it's two separate entities that we're working with. So if you have any mammals or whatever, especially if you're displaying or selling any of those mammals, you have to have USDA to do so. They are for the welfare of the animals, whereas the state is still for the welfare of the animals, but they're also making sure that you're following the rules and regulations as far as your property, how large your property is, your fencing, your gauging, your requirements, the sizes, all that stuff to make sure that public safety is number one, and then also that your animals are living in a space that is livable for the animal. They do give minimum requirements. We shoot way beyond those minimum requirements because they're not that big when it asks for certain species, and then other species are on point. So I think if we really want to work on things, we should work on like bumping up the regulations a little bit as far as cage sizing and things like that. That would be more something that I would be like, I would like to get involved with stuff like that. But this whole fighting back and forth.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I was reading.
Of course not.
Comments.
What'd you find? Did you find anything good?
You pick it up. Maybe you pick it up.
Well, there's a big yellow one, so I'll pick that one. Much love, brother. Keep up the good fight. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. You two crack me up because you know each other too well. That's for sure. You're stoned. I wish. We're almost there. We're almost. Everybody always says that. Apparently, I have the perma stone look. Okay, so
dude, I get that all the time.
It's
in
the
college,
gym. It's the gym.
I never touch the stuff, but in college,
he doesn't even smoke.
No, but people think I smoke.
Yeah, because you look fucking high all the time.
No, I'm just super chill.
No, it's just me. It's just me. I guess it's the eyes. I don't sleep, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, I will say I endorse the greenery, okay? Like for anybody out there, yes, I endorse the greenery. But I don't do that until nighttime when my job is done. Number one, it's 1,000 degrees outside. So if I did that, I would fucking literally melt like the damn.
It's actually 104.
Yeah, it feels like, is it 104 or it feels
That's
like
what
104?
it feels like, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like 104.
Feels like 104.
Smoke a joint, it'll feel like 182. And then you're walking out there melting like a fucking clown. So I do endorse the green. However, no, ladies and gentlemen, I've often been told I look high, and no, I'm not high, ladies and gentlemen. Not yet. That'll be later on tonight. When I'm going to bed, that's when I will be. Well, I'm just being honest. Okay? Don't do drugs at all. Please don't do drugs. But I endorse the greenery. That comes from the earth. God give us that.
Oh, I gotta step away.
I can't believe I didn't get notified. I missed my favorite live ever from Oregon. Kendra, love you very much. Thank you. We appreciate it. What'd you see? What'd you see over there? Let me see if I can catch it. I bet I can catch it. Don't we all love the green stuff and the best? Yeah. Any ideas on how I can get my wife into reptiles? Been a parrot keeper my whole life, but I would like a bearded dragon to start out with and learn from, but the wife doesn't want to. Easiest way, Kenny, and I'll tell this to you, get a baby bearded dragon and bring it home without permission. As soon as you get there, guard your face, put your hands up. You don't want to get beat too badly. After the beating is done, when she sees the cute little bearded dragon, 10 times out of 10, they'll usually fold, and then they I promise you, they tend to probably take care of it even more than you will, because they'll be like, oh my God, it's so damn cute. So just get yourself a baby bearded dragon. If you're taking care of parrots already, I promise you'll be great with a bearded dragon. Super simple care, and your wife will fall in love. If not, I'm sorry, buddy, you're going to have some bruises. That's just all there is to it.
How many people still have an Instagram post?
Which one? Your nip slip?
Yeah, because now you need to do a nip slip.
I'm supposed to do a nip slip,
you said it was going to be full of nip slips and potatoes.
Yeah, get all cleaned up.
Go ahead. I got a bathroom over there. Got some razors.
Razors, bro. Buzzers, bro. I got sensitive skin, okay, homie?
Oh,
yeah. Killing you with logic said leave your wife.
What happened?
Killing you with logic said leave your wife. Now, Kenny, I don't think you have to leave your wife, my brother. She might leave you, though. There is a chance for that. But I'm going to go on a limb and say if she sees a cute, tiny bearded dragon, there's not many people that can say no to that. So No way I will ever allow that. I'm assuming Pandora might be your wife. Is that your wife? Am I on point here? Are you guys out here doing it? My boy. All right. So we're getting to an hour. Let's do a couple questions. We're gonna do. Somebody saw it because they got the potatoes and nips right there. So Kenny said, "Nope, she's not." Oh, she's on the firm fact of she was like, "No way, I'll never allow it." Just so you know. So that could be that's a possible scenario. But just get a cute small baby. It'll be good. Melissa, Bimini's doing great. Everybody's doing great. I got an update episode coming for you guys. Guess what? Tonight. I'm going to post it tonight. It's an unedited episode that I did with Maui and Moana. That's the 2 black and white rough lemurs. Brian's looking at me like an asshole because he's looking, not going to let me fucking do my thing, bro. Now I'm going to get in trouble. Now I'm going to get in trouble for this guy. He's got other. Shirts. You have the other
What
one.
else are you keeping from me, bro?
Oh my God. Just the shirts, bro. He's got his own episode to do. He's got his own episode to do tonight, bro. I just.
What episode do I have to do?
You have to do Josh's. He doesn't even know what episodes he's got to do, bro. Oh my goodness, bro. You got Josh's episode.
Okay, but give me the other one too.
I'll give you the other one. You can put it together, but bam, damn. I mean, it's just not really much to it. It was just an update on Maui and Moana. It's the last update and a very big thank you. That's why I wasn't giving it to Brian, was because it was a very big thank you to him and his family. So you were supposed to see it as a surprise, you dick.
Oh man.
So anyway, but yeah, we had a little scare with Maui, and it ended up being like a small scenario, and he's doing much better now. So I'm going to give you guys that little breakdown there. Need more twin stories, Kendra says. Why did we break his jaw?
Right now.
Why did we break his jaw? Like, we need the old man tells a couple times a week. We'll start doing that when we get into the new house and shit gets settled. We'll start doing more of that. The jaw one, that's a long-winded story. That would take me like a half an hour at least to tell or whatever. But it was basically an epic battle between me and my brother that ended up with his jaw broken, and then he went to the hospital. My sister actually had bought the house across the street from where we lived at the time, so she was having a party. Nobody was really happy with me at that point in time. I'm not sure why. My brother got home from the hospital a little bit after that, and we were all making jokes about it shortly thereafter. So it is a fun story. The BB gun story is funny too. But do I use CBD for my animals? Shit, that's a fucking fair question. Yeah. As a matter of fact, CBD is widely used, not just with me, but with a bunch of other people as well. Flamingo Gardens actually has Josh the Bear. Josh the Bear, I've known since I was about 11 years old, 12 years old when I was at Vanishing Species, which was a fucking terrible place that made me leave the industry for a little while because I thought that was the whole animal industry. But Josh was bounced around, and now he's at Flamingo Gardens living his best life. So they put him on a diet, and his joints were a little messed up. He couldn't really walk around. He was very much overweight. He was being fed candy, cookies, whatever the fuck he wanted at any time of the day because they just didn't want to pay for fruits, vegetables, and real food. So Josh the Bear is on CBD, and it actually allows him to get up, walk around, do his thing. So in certain scenarios, yes, I do endorse CBD for your animals. And if you do want to get that, ladies and gentlemen, that's not at your vape store, homies. That's at your vet. Your vet carries the CBD for your animals. That's a real thing. 100% if your animals are high anxiety, joint problems. It goes through a litany of stuff. I've seen it help some things. We have a dog with super high anxiety. I'm actually going to do an episode on that we rescued. He likes to bite and shit like that. I actually have, if I could show it legally, I would. I have holes all over my ass from this dog getting chewed on. And quite frankly, the CBD did not work for his anxiety, but for some it does. We got Erickson up here. Much respect for you and your hustle. You have disclosed what happened at the facility, or have you disclosed what happened at the facility you had to remove your animals from? Yeah, Erickson, we went over that like at the tip of the episode here, but I'll just give you a recap. We're going to do an episode on it, but we're going to leave all names and everything out. It's going to be very vague because quite frankly, I'm ready to just close that chapter of my life. Even on the legal side, I think I'm going to close that chapter of my life. I just don't know if it's worth keeping these people in my brain. I don't think it's worth the waste of my brain space, to be honest with you. So we're going to do one, then we're going to get the fuck out, and we're going to just fucking hit the road running.
How's the merch someone else?
Merch, this dude is slower than shit, but I got to give him credit. He's helping me out tremendously. We got 2 shirts coming out. If they're very basic shirts, we're just trying it out. I have a guy, Cody, that gave me a phenomenal Cody. We're going to shout him out properly once that merch is out. I do have another lady that I need to get with that did a picture of Big Boy that I want to put on a t-shirt as well. But I have 2 t-shirts that are supposed to be coming out. The dude does do a lot of shirts. He actually does the shirts for my brother's business, but at this time of year, apparently he has a lot of camps and a lot of like summer sport things and whatnot. So he does a lot of shirts for the kids too. So obviously I'm not going to press on him too hard, but we got a little ways to go. We wanted that to be out like a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, it looks like we're a couple weeks out still. So as soon as he can fill that order, I promise you guys, as soon as it hits, you guys will know. I promise. I have a loud mouth, and I'm going to fucking keep it that way. So, Brian, you're fired.
Yeah. I'm fired like, what, every 10 minutes?
I mean, I try to, just to keep you on your toes. But somebody else fired you, too. So, sorry, bud. I don't know what
I
you
get
got
that a
fired
lot,
for this
though.
time.
Like, every month I
You
get
do
probably
get that a
5
lot.
50 times.
High five on that one, bud. Fucking consistency is key. Tell everybody that. CBD, what reasons? Shane, there's a why. There's so many.
Actually, we give CBD oil to Eli because he has like stress heart issues sometimes, and we give it to him.
So, Eli, why don't you go, can you get him?
No, he's gonna put the shit. I mean,
can you get Bell?
So can I get Bell?
Yeah. You guys are in luck. We have a fucking twin image of what Eli is. Eli is such a sweet boy. Why do you think he's gonna bite you?
I don't know, because I've been paying attention to Bell.
He probably will bite the shit out of him. I was just trying to get him bit, but looks like that's not gonna work. All right, let me answer some more questions while he goes to get you guys something. So the CBD oil that he uses for this particular monkey, you're gonna see the species in a second. For obviously, I guess he said he has some anxiety problems and some heart stuff. CBD, what reason, Shane? There is a litany of reasons that CBD can help. CBD for pain, as Michelle Renee said right underneath you right there, 100%. Yeah, that can help for pain. We got another one here from Melissa. CBD helped my brother's boxer live much longer from cancer. So you have that. Yeah, I got, what do I got? Please do not give any. Yeah, here, Kendra has a good point, and she is a vet tech, and then she is doing more vet work. I believe she's actually becoming a vet, if I remember correctly. But she says, please do not give animals anything without a vet's okay. And you guys have heard me say this 1,000 times because you guys watch me give meds and stuff. And I think people assume that I just grab a bunch of meds up and I just go dose a bunch of things up. But I always have a vet behind me. So I have my buddy, Dr. John Shetler, that helps me with everything that I do. Sunrise Animal Hospital, big shout out to my homie over there. Fucking love that guy, but he directs me in everything that I do. And even the stuff that I know, for sure, I still go back and double check with my vet. So 100% don't hit shit willy-nilly. You can't overdose your animals on CBD, let's be honest, but you can make them rather uncomfortable. So please make sure you go to your vet for all that stuff. We got Holly again. God, you guys are popping up good. Thank you, Holly. Honestly, I have no idea how much these lives make my day. I'm working, so I'm half listening, but CBD is amazing. So is THC. So I'll just put that out there too. But don't give that shit to your dogs. Fucking don't do that shit. That's like my fucking, it's the bane of my existence. Anybody that's like, hey, can we fog out your animals? No, you fucking can't. Don't do that shit. It's weird. Anyway. Holly, yeah, I know. Work sucks sometimes, but you know what, dude? At least you're half listening. So I'm half talking. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. All right, put me down for a bunch. Wildflower Fisher says. Thoughts on the species rising in Florida, pros and cons for the chameleons? Well, there really is no pros. I mean, any species that's taking hold here in Florida only makes it look worse for the pet trade, honestly. And quite frankly, a lot of people do make their living off the pet trade, and a lot of people do it responsibly. But unfortunately enough, there she is. Unfortunately enough, the more stuff that we have established in the wild that comes from, like chameleons did not come over on a boat. Iguanas did. The Canadian curly-tailed lizards, they did. 100%. What are you doing? Yes, you did. Why do all of you guys try and gnaw off my nubby fingernail? Go ahead. Take it down. I need the trim anyway. So, as far as the chameleons go, I think those were released so that people could do some, let's call it breeding. right there. So it made it easier to kind of breed those animals and just go collect them when you needed them. So you didn't have to take care of them. You just put them out in a tree. They kind of stay in a localized area, and then after that, you could just go collect babies. So personally, I like to see them. I hate to say it like that. I do like to see this stuff because I do enjoy doing the herping thing, and I do enjoy going to look for animals, and I do enjoy getting a nice, oh, dude, get me a nice ambelobe chameleon right off the side of the road here in Florida. Fucking, that's like gold. But I do think it's an issue that we got to get on top of. So unfortunately, it's like good and bad. I guess the only pro is my mental fucking Christmas time shit that goes off when I see one. I'm like, oh my God, it's for me. So yeah. All right. Mary A is talking about crocodile confessions. Like that's the new name of our stuff. So we got that. That's pretty cool. I like that. I'm an artist. Painting animal can help with illustration on anything. Sorry, my bad English. I'm from Denmark. Tanya Palmer. If you go to Biteforce at Biteforce underscore on Instagram, brain fart, we can talk about that. I have a couple other artists that I'm working with as well, so I want to keep it low key, but yeah, 100%. Anyway, back to this real quick before I answer some questions here. We're going to go on for about another 15 minutes. Belle, where are you going, Mama? So this is an owl monkey. This is a nocturnal species of monkey. They do get larger than this. Eli is downstairs right now, and why don't you go ahead and tell them about Eli and why you give CBD?
Why do we do it?
You're the one that just said it, man.
Huh?
Something along with was it anxiety in the heart?
Yeah, he has anxiety and heart, and with stress, he gets heart problems sometimes. So with the CBD oil, it relaxes him.
Oh, we almost lost Eli, didn't we?
Yeah.
That was the one that. Okay,
he got that whole situation.
Yes.
I don't know.
So we're not 100% sure what happened, but it all goes back to pretty much every episode that I do on primates, knowing your animals and everything that they do as far as personality for those animals. So they know their personality, their animals well. They saw Eli acting a little weird. Freak accident. We still have no idea what caused it, but Eli went downhill fast, like to the point where we didn't think Eli was going to make it. And Eli is actually going to be the boyfriend of this little girl. Where are you going, Mama? Right here. She's going to be the girlfriend, or he's going to be the boyfriend of this little girl right here. Once she gets a little bit bigger, she's still growing into her adult size, but this is the monkey that he uses the CBD oil for. So it calms the stress, helps with the heart a little bit, keeps the anxiety down, and since he's been on it, he's been doing much better. And this is not Eli, just so everybody knows. All right. So do you use THC? No, we don't use that in the animals. Nope. No reason for that. All right, let's see if we got anything else. Take my money. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate you. All right, so we got Alan Malone hot boxing with Master Blaster. Holy shit, that would be a quick boxing match, and I would lose very quickly. I mean, you could box Master Blaster 100%. For anybody that doesn't know who Master Blaster is, that's the giant alligator that did the deed over here with this arm right there. And if you boxed him, number one.
Whoa, are you getting him back?
Yeah.
When you get that new place, right?
Yes, that's going to be a slower process. Obviously, we're worried about the monkeys and the primates and stuff like that first. So we're going to be building those enclosures, and then we're going to get Master Blaster. He's fine where he's at right now. We're going to be doing the alligator moves last. That'll be the very last thing that we do at the park over there. We got a lot of other things that we got to set up first. And the alligators are easy, and they're doing good over there at Wild Florida right now. But Master Blaster boxing, let me tell you what would happen. So Master Blaster's face is solid bone covered with skin, so he ain't going to feel shit if you punched him. And then what he's going to do is he's going to open that mouth, and once you get him a hand in there, you're not getting it back. I promise. I'm sorry. Screw you, little mama. That was too loud. Marie Tilson, much love to you guys. Marie Tilson also has a TikTok that I'm going to announce right now as soon as I figure out what it is. So let me see. Oh. That was my Eminem right there, talking some good stuff right there. Hold on. Please hold. So we have Marie Tilson, and you can do this for your Patreon levels, ladies and gentlemen. Look at your Patreon tiers, and if you have it, we will give you a shout out on a live and or channel or whatever. You know, if we did a.
If they want a shout out for Instagram, TikTok or anything like that, it's tier 4 and 5.
Yes, and then if you have YouTube, we'll shout that out. You know, whatever you guys want. So it's TikTok at Marie Tilson. So if you scroll up, ladies and gentlemen, you can see Marie Tilson. How she spells that name? That's MarieTillson. So it's at Marie Tilson. That's at TikTok, and that's as far as I go because I know nothing about TikTok. Amanda Lynn says, "Do you have an Amazon wish list? Want specific gift cards that will help you with setting up the new property?" Okay, so I was highly against the Amazon wish list thing, and I'm highly against donations. However, we've come to a point where I have literally spent every waking minute and every part of my being, soul, and everything. I don't have a bank account anymore, so I just crushed everything to basically put into this new venture and to get all the animals back home. So I think I will be doing an Amazon wish list. I don't know if they do materials on there. That's really all I could really use. Maybe some toys for the animals and stuff like that, some rope swings, things like that. But for the most part, even if we can't, and even if this is my point, my guys, is like, I don't want everybody to feel bad. Like, you don't, if you can't help, you can't help. Don't worry about it. Like, that's never been the aim of this channel. We'll get by no matter what. No matter what we have to do, we will get by. We'll make the money that we need to make. We'll be able to put everything together. Any help is much appreciated, but I don't like to make it feel like anybody has to help or anybody has to go.
No, this is just fun
anything.
content for you guys,
Yeah.
and updates and stuff like that. That's pretty much it.
We enjoy doing it. Brian's a phenomenal editor, so he's always wanted to edit, so it fits it. Yeah, why don't you fucking give yourself some credit, guy, or otherwise you're fired. So. So in a nutshell, we're always going to do this, and we're always going to do the YouTube. We're going to open up this business. We're going to show you guys how things run or whatever. But I think I got to check. I don't know what the Amazon wish list is. I have to look into it. But realistically, it'll just be pretty much materials. That's it. And a lot of that stuff we've already kind of like fucking got it kind of nailed down. I do have a couple people. I have Cat. I have Me and My Human that you guys keep seeing, and Cat Phipps. Those are two people that help me tremendously all the time. Love you guys to death. Those people are like family at this point by now. They're past friends. They're past little friends that we met on YouTube and stuff. And I've had a lot of friends that I've met off of YouTube, but these guys have given a tremendous amount of help as well as everybody else on my Patreon. Thank you guys very much. And even you guys that just watch the channel, that you guys don't understand how amazing it is to have such a following. And we don't have a large following, but we have the fucking best following. I will say that. So 100%. We appreciate everybody. It doesn't matter what you guys do. Like, even if you're just watching the channel and that's all you can do, that's fucking all you need to do. That's it, man. We appreciate you more than you guys will ever know. That's it, man. That's it. Mandolin says, "Dude, I'm letting you spend my money." We'll get the Amazon wish list going. We'll see how it works out. If it has what we need, then we'll go from there. Hopefully the merch will help us out. That's another slingshot into another realm of being able to help out with the animals and stuff. But then it also makes me feel like at least we're giving back to you, which is why we're attacking this merch so hardcore. I wish we could get it done a little bit faster, and I wish I understood a little bit more. I'm sure once time moves on, and I have a lot of artists that reach out to me, and once I can get like to the next house and have like time to focus on what I need to focus on and get with these artists individually, because we don't want anybody to do anything for free. Like, that's a big thing for me. Like, as far as like YouTube channels, I think they get a lot of stuff for free, and like we're not aiming for that. There's D again. We all have your back. You just have to let us know when, where, and how to help. Well, D, you always help me all the time. I think you go above and beyond a little bit, and I love you for it. But we will let you know as soon as we need help. We'll let you know 100%. But our whole thing, will we do private tours once I'm set up? Yes, small private tours. We're not going to be open to the public 24/7, but we will do private tours. I'm not going to bother all my neighbors with people running in and out. But private tours will be there. We want to do a podcast. It's not a broadcast, dumbass. We're not going on AM radio. We're going to try and do a podcast.
You might get there.
If we end up on AM radio, bro, we've died. We have died, and we've gone back to the 1950s. Is AM radio even still the thing anymore?
Oldie but goodie.
Oldie but a goodie, bro. Oldie but a goodie. But anywho, ladies and gentlemen, all right, let's take 2 more questions before we get the fudge out of here. I'm done rambling on. I'm done taking up everybody's time. We appreciate you. Before I answer a couple more questions, let me just say one more time, I appreciate you guys from the top to the bottom, from all of you guys that support me on the outside of this, from all of you guys that support my Patreon, from all of you guys that just watch the channel, from all of you guys that just share, hit that like button, all the stupid little things they make you do on YouTube for these algorithms that we just fight for. And it's basically a popularity contest that we're not really into anyway. So we appreciate the small cluster of people that we have. You guys are fucking real, and that's our favorite part about it. I'm not sure what he's pointing at. I'm not even going to pay attention to what the fuck that guy's got going on, but we do appreciate you more than you guys will ever understand. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to all of you guys. Another message that I have to give you guys is just, dude, like, I think in this world, in this day and age, especially with some of the things that I'm seeing with my own people around me, like, I think everybody needs to humble up. Everybody needs to start loving each other. Like, I know some days are hard. Some days you just want to fucking, some days you just, not you, I'm just saying, some days you just want to just fucking slam somebody's face in the ground, but you just gotta fucking suck it up and try and be respectful to everybody.
That's what the metaverse is for.
Yeah, do that on the metaverse or whatever the fuck he's talking about.
The Oculus?
All right, crazy question. Can we see the tattoo on the right side of your neck, please? Yeah, sure. There you go. All right. So this is a different tattoo that runs into this. So you have to pay attention to just this. It makes a little bit more sense if it's like that. So Tyler and I have to touch this up. It is an owl skull, and then it has a third eye in the top. That's why you guys can't see it, because when it's covered up with the t-shirt, it looks a little off, and then obviously my neck wrinkles naturally, so I'm old as shit, so sometimes you can't see what's up. The monkey came out great. The skull came out good too, but we're going to get rid of the third eye because I'm tired of people asking me what it is.
Oh, it looks like a pug dog.
It's better than the giant dick that's on my back. Yeah, that's right. And for those that didn't know that, I'm sure there's a lot that do, but for those that don't, there is a giant dick on my back. If you want to see it, go to Tyler's channel. It has been shown at Tyler's channel before. Next time we go to Tyler's, because we're going to be there soon getting some tattoo work done, I'm sure that we'll have
we'll have a picture.
I'll put it on the Patreon. I'll put it on the Patreon. Yeah, for sure. All right.
I'll post it after this.
Couple more. Here we go. Where's the Borneo vids? Love this stuff. Borneos. I don't even know if Josh has any Borneos. I'm going to get into the Borneos. I did like the Borneo stuff. So I'm going to get back into the Borneo blood pythons and all that good stuff. If that's what you're talking about. Borneo as a whole, like, we don't have much. I think, you know what? He might. We might have some stuff over there. So I'll see if I can get into that. If we do. Your thoughts on Chandler's bite? He got bit.
Enough said.
Chandler got bit. He got fucking bit in the leg. My thoughts are that I hope he's okay. That's it. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell everybody here, like, we take a calculated risk, and not all the time do you get to win. Now, I myself have never been bit by anything, so I can't really relate to the whole situation there because I've never been bit in my life. We're doing dangerous shit. Like, this is dangerous. So at some point in time, you're going to catch some heat. You always got to remain vigilant and try and be as careful as possible, but it is not a matter of if, ladies and gentlemen. If you choose the lifestyle that we choose, and you choose to work with the animals that we choose to work with, then it's not a matter of if something's going to go down. It's a matter of when and how you handle it. That's the biggest thing. All right. What do we got? Yeah. Last question. Getting bit is the risk we take for the better life of the animal. Yeah, pretty much exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Justin needs to do a hair slip, no hat, 5 minutes. Bro, there's so many pictures out of me with no hat. For whatever reason, I'll fucking punch you, bro. For whatever reason, I'm comfortable with my hat, dude. I like my hat, bro. Like, I got a little bit of my dad in me. I'm going to post some pictures actually later on of my dad. I look exactly like my dad. And that's what I think freaks me out, is because I'm getting older, bro. Like, shit's fucking like has traveled down. It's going back on top of it. But how about this? When I get a haircut, I'll do a fucking episode without a hat. Can we agree on that? Can I at least get a haircut so I don't look like fucking Charles Manson when I take this thing off,
how
bro?
many subscribers do we have?
at 50,000 subscribers.
Okay. You're gonna do one video
I'll fucking
without
shave
a
my,
hat
I'll
completely.
shave my whole ass head.
No. You keep it where it's at. You
No,
just do
I
a
gotta
whole
get a
video
haircut.
without a hat.
Yeah, I'll do it. Just let me get a haircut first, my dudes.
Let's
Jesus
get
Christ,
50,000.
bro. Like,
Then we'll do it.
this shit under here, bro.
50,000.
I'm half
50,000.
Cuban, ladies and gentlemen.
You'll do a video without a
50,000.
hat.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
Okay.
But just so everybody knows, like,
I have the thumbnail now.
my father came from Cuba when he was 8, okay? So I got the full Cuban in me, and let me tell you what, bro, like, that shit's a Brillo pad up there, okay? So it's just a Cuban fro. David Zeke said Manson is okay. He was at one point. He fucking went off the rails a bit. You guys should really get into the Manson stuff, too, because if you didn't know, he used to hang out with the Beach Boys and stuff. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yeah, you had no idea.
And I don't know who that is.
You don't know who fucking Charles Manson is? Are you for real right now? You don't know who Charles Manson is?
I think I do, but I don't want to be wrong and look like an idiot.
Who's Charles Manson?
I'm gonna take the monkey back, okay?
Who's Charles?
Just,
just who do you think it is? Just get a little hint. Nothing.
Huh?
No hint. No nothing.
No.
Fucking doesn't know who Manson is, dude. Rock the Manson look. She said. I don't know if you guys want me to rock the Manson look. All right. One more question, my dudes. Cult leader, serial killer.
Oh yeah.
He says, "Oh yeah." Now, I don't think he actually wasn't a serial killer. He just had his little ladies do his bidding, and they only got the 2 kills in. But I guarantee you, if they let him go for longer, he would have went that route. But it is fun to watch old Charles Manson do the little dancing and jigging inside the old courtroom pizzazz that he had going on there. So if you guys want to see some funny shit, look up Charles Manson and any interview that he's ever done with police. It's fucking phenomenal. It's great. The guy lost his mind. All right, what do we got here? Let's get one more question in, and then we're out of here. 2 more questions, because this one's a quick one. Did your twin bail out of the animal world? I have 4 siblings. I'm sorry. I have 3 siblings. I have a twin, an older brother, and an older sister. My father did this before I did. I'm actually going to post some pictures of him working the sea lions when he was younger, which is really creepy because he looks fucking exactly like I do, just a little bit tanner because he is Cuban. So I will post some pictures, but nobody really backed out of the animal world. It's just that they didn't fall into it the same way that I did. So my entire family loves animals. My mother's a little bit terrified of some of the stuff, but my whole family loves animals. And I think my younger generation, especially my nephew, is kind of following in those footsteps. But at the end of the day, nobody bailed. They just didn't get into it the way that I did, especially because there was really no money to be made. And that was like a big breaking point for a lot of those guys. Like my entire family is smarter than I am. Let me just say that right there. Yes. Yeah. All right. Awesome live stream. Don't work yourself to death on the next move. Don't worry if videos take longer to come out while getting set up. Double deuces. 1.5 deuces for you. Okay, wait, make that 3. He did. He said make it 3.5 for you. All right. Wham instead of boom today. We were going to go wham, bro? Are we going to go wham? David, you got to stop listening to that shit, bro. You got to stop listening to wham. It's like in your brain too much, bro. I think this is the 3rd time you've brought up wham. I think you have a wham addiction. And for anybody that doesn't know what wham is, go out there and look that shit up. That shit's hilarious. Can I be your new Madison? Yep, bring it on. We need another one. So, all right. What do we got? Culture Club, my friend. Nah, the boom is iconic. We always boom it out. I don't even know where the fuck that came from, but since day one, we've been doing the boom. That shit stuck with us. All right, one more question, my dude. Somebody give me a good one. Let me end this on a solid note. Here's a thanks to you, Brian. Brian, thanks for having Justin's back, brother, for you and your family. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. Dream reptile and dream primate to own. Oh, man. I am.
That's an episode.
We could do a whole ass episode of that. Yeah. I would say dream reptile would. I don't know. I've owned a lot of stuff.
Dream primate, I have to say it's the owl.
Orangutan for me would be. I'd go into the great apes if I could. I just don't feel like I could provide enough for them, unfortunately. But yeah, if I could have some orangutans, yeah, fuck yeah, that'd be my way to go. As far as reptiles, king cobras of all, Chinese king cobra for me would be that specific locale of Chinese cobra. Like that would be the bomb. Komodo dragon, yeah, I would love to have a Komodo dragon. That's another one, but you know, it is what it is. We could go like there's no way. I said if you watch any of my episodes, I always go, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. They're all my fucking favorite. So like there's it's really hard to choose. But primate for sure, I would want to have a little fuzzy haired
Baby orangutan. They're cute as shit.
little son of bitches with their little dentures in there, look like my grandma and grandpa before they passed on. So that's what my grandpa looked like before he died. Fucking baby orangutan. Love that man to death. A Fiji iguana would be fucking phenomenal, but we're not allowed to have those here. You can have them in the UK, I believe. That's totally cool. Tuatara. How about that? Real quick before I let anybody go. What does anybody knows about the Tuatara there? How about that for a reptile? What does anybody think about the Tuatara? Nobody on this one? How about you, bud? What do you know about the Tuatara?
Fuck, I don't know. I didn't even know about Manson.
Do you guys know about the Order of Squamata? Does everybody know that? Rebecca, thank you very much. I will. I'll check it. I promise. I promise I will. Sometimes I forget I have that. Melissa F, thank you very much. She got it. Not a lizard.
Oh, really?
No, the Tuatara. So we're gonna go. I should do a whole episode on this. So
Yeah,
there's the Order of Squamata, and then it breaks it up into all these different categories and stuff. You have all these kingdoms and phylums and orders and suborders and all this other shit. So you have thousands upon thousands of different species of reptiles and amphibians, right? So that's the Order of Squamata. Then you have one. And Holly, if you're still here listening, it's fucking where you live, son of a bitch. It's in New Zealand. So it's the Tuatara, and the
Are we gonna go there
Tuatara.
one day?
I hope so. I sure as fucking hell hope so. So Tuataras, we got a bunch of people clocking in here now. So what is that? Never heard of it. So we're going into that now. So I'm gonna do a whole episode of this. We're gonna go. I'm gonna see if I can get with my buddy Marco Zeno and go over to a zoo. Maybe he could take me around at San Diego over there. I know he does a lot with the rhinos. So I don't know his schedule, and
Man, keep going.
especially
Keep
going
going. We're almost
over
at 2
to
hours.
oh my god, fucking
Keep going.
2 hour guy over here. So I can maybe try and get over to California at some point and do something with them. I know they have Tuataras over there, but the Order of Squamata goes with all these reptiles and amphibians, and then Tuatara is in a class of its own, so it's not considered a reptile. So if you go and look up Tuataras, it's an ancient-looking dinosaur-looking species. They're absolutely phenomenal. I have had the pleasure of seeing them in real life, in person. It's one of the coolest animals on this earth. And if I had the chance to, I would 100% be all over it. There's a guy in New Zealand that breeds Tuataras nonstop, and they're not allowed to leave that country over there. And unfortunately, he does have to shake and bake a lot of those eggs because he's got so many. But a lot like a lot of other stuff over there in New Zealand. There's a bird over there. I don't think it's the kiwi. I think it's the fucking some sort of weird parrot. I think there was the kiwi there too. There's a bunch of stuff that's just specifically endemic to New Zealand that never leaves there and never will leave there. So why are you not allowed to have the Mount Fiji iguana? Just because of the laws? You'd think conservation would trump some of the stupid laws. Yeah, you'd think so. You'd think so. AZA. So if you're a zoo, I don't even think like the sad part is like ZAA was for smaller people like me, for smaller wildlife parks to be an accredited zoo. And I don't think the state is now paying attention to ZAA as an accreditation. So AZA is an accreditation, which is another fucking goddamn thing where I'm just like, I love what AZA does. Don't get me wrong, but the AZA program is basically you pay into it, and if you can meet the requirements of the AZA people, then you can have an AZA accredited facility, which is the big zoos, Miami Zoo, Lowry Park, Bronx Zoo, all those big zoos, Gladys Porter Zoo in Texas. All these big, giant, multi-million-dollar zoos, those are AZA facilities. So places like that can 100% have things like the Mount Fiji iguana and Tuataras and things like that. But for the private sector, it's very difficult for us to get those things, specifically because it all falls under zoo stuff. So they have what's called SSP animals. So they bring in pure bloodlines of those animals, and they do not want that mixed up. And unfortunately enough, hate to say it, my dudes, with the ball pythons and all the different morphs of everything that we have nowadays, there's just too much danger of setting that out into the general public to literally fudge up bloodlines, because you better believe that shit would be inbred to death, because that's the quickest way to make money off of reptiles, unfortunately enough. So there you go. But yes, tuatars are on the 100% awesome. And I do agree with you. Some of the laws are a little bit too strict, but I do have to agree with some of that stuff. Kia, the meat eating parrot. There we go. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All right, dudes and dudettes. Thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you guys for paying attention. Hopefully, I don't lose any followers for speaking the truth. I wish more people would just be open about what's going on and speaking the truth. I wish more people would come together. I wish people would stop fucking battling it out, especially on YouTube. Remember, dudes, YouTube is not your go-to for information, not even for me. Always double check your sources, double check your facts, double check your shit. Love one another. Do what you do. Have a good day, my friends. If anybody's having a shit day, I fucking love you. Have a good one. Boom. Out. Find the end button, big guy. Please do this for me.
I feel like you're at my mercy. I got the power. Am I getting a raise?
You're fucking back to higher. Just put it down. That's it.